Now, for this class, we're going to be learning how to cut a female shirt. Now, there is a slight difference between cutting a male shirt and a female shirt. Here, we're going to be learning how to cut a very simple female shirt. Now, what I have here is 1.5 yard, and that's more than enough for me to cut the shirt. And this is by 60, right? Please, it's not by 45. This material is by 60. So for this part, I'm just going to calculate my body measurement, that's the chest, and how free I want the shirt to be, or how fitted I want it to be. Now, for a normal body, for cutting a normal body measurement on a clothes, whenever we see these two fold, we assume that this part is the back. But for the shirt, where the place that has this two opening is the front, and where the place that has this double fold is the back. So this is the front and this is the back. So I'll be taking my measurements. First of all, I want to check if this will be how much. I'm going to mark out my body measurement first. So the chest I'm using for this clothes is 40, chest of 40, and then it's just going to be a free shirt. So, and the length I want this shirt to be is at 26. So I'll be marking my bust. I'm going to mark my bust. The bust is 40 divided by 2. I am having 40 divided by 2, and I have 20. So this is at 20. I'm going to add 4 inches sewing allowance. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to have 24 divided by 2, which will give me 12, which you can also do 40 divided by 2, 40 divided by 4, 10 plus 2 inches sewing allowance, 12. So we still have 12, whether we do it the other way or this way. So what I'm going to be marking for this first part is I'm going to fold 2 of them together. Look at the prints on of the clothes. That's what I'm checking before I cut. So I folded this fabric with my body measurements plus all my sewing allowances. So I'm going to mark out the length. I've already added 1/2 inch. That's why I didn't start it at the tip. So I'm going to be adding another 1/2 inch here for the hemming allowance, or I can just make it 1 inch so that I can weave it. So I've marked the length. I'm going to cut it out because the material is too long, so it will not be making me shift the cloth up and down. This is a very simple shirt. You can use to wear a 2-piece. You can use it to wear a 2-piece color. Very simple and very nice. Whenever you wear it, it just looks very good. Okay, so this is all for the leg. Now the normal shoulder measurement for this person is 15, but because it's a shirt, I'm going to be using 16. I'm going to now add, after I've divided 16 by 2, I will now add 2 1/2 inch sewing allowance. So 16 divided by 2 is 8 plus 1/2 inch. So what I'll be marking here is 8.5. So for the depth, I use 8. So at 8, I'll rule. So I've ruled. I will curve a bit. For the neck, I'll be using 2.5. I'll use 2.5. So I'll mark, and for the depth, I will just place the tip of my tape here, and then slant it to mark 4. Wherever 4 is, that's where I'm going to be, but I'm not going to be marking this 4 now. I'll mark that later. For now, what I'll mark is just 1 inch for the back, 1.5 rather. I'll just curve a bit here. So that's all. I'm going to cut my body measurement now. I'm going to take my body measurement, but before then, I'll just slant the arm, the shoulder by 1/2 inch. So this is what I have. Now for my body measurement, I'm going to have mark at 12. I'll mark down. But before then, I'll mark my half length, 17. Just a little, but it's just going to be a free shape. If you don't want it to be a little bit fitted, you can still leave it like that. But if you want it to be a little bit fitted, you can just remove, take your half length measurement here. But I want it to be a little bit free but fitted. So I've come in here. For this part, I'm going to curve this way. I don't know if it's visible. I'll curve this way. I just want it to have a small curve. If you don't want that, you can still leave it. You can go in to curve this way. You can go in by 2 inches or 3. Let me come down first. Then you go in by 2 inches and curve. Look at it here. I went in by 2 inches and then I curved. It's optional, you can still curve straight anyhow you want. For me, I just came in a little and curved. So that's all. I'll be cutting it. Then when I'm done joining, I will show you how I will cut the front neck. I'm done with the back. I'm going to shift this back. For this front, I'm going to open it so you see how it looks in the front. This front part that has this, I'm going to fold it with my machine. I'll run a stitch. After I've folded, I'll fold 1/2 inch. I took 1.5. I'll fold 1/2 inch, then fold by 1. Let me pin it and show you. So this is the way the shirt looks. When I'm done, I'll run a stitch. I'll run a stitch on the machine. I'll run a stitch on this fabric. just the way it is now, straight. So when I'm done running the stitch, I will place this front to front. I'll place the front to the front. When I'm done placing the front to the front, this is when I will now take my neck measurement for the front by slanting my tape. By slanting my tape from this point and here. Once I am done slanting my tape from here, I will now cut. Add this additional, make sure that it's no more than 4. You can just add 1 inch, but I prefer to slant my tape from here and then cut. Some people cut straight when they are doing theirs. Anyone that works for you, it's fine. Sleeve is going to be a long sleeve. I will check round what I have for my sleeve. I'll check round. So I have 11.5. So I'll make sure that my sleeve is up to 11.5 before I cut. Now for my sleeve, I'm going to come in by 4 inches this way and then slope it upward all the way up. I'll slope it all the way up. I have to make sure that I have up to 11.5. So I have this, and I'm going to be having these. So I have 11.5. I hope it's clear. I have up to 11.5. So for the arm, I want to check. I'm going to measure my arm. The arm I'm using is 8. So plus 2 inches sewing allowance, I have 10. Because it's going to have a bit of pleats. It's going to have pleats at the ending. I'm going to make sure that my sleeve is no more than 21. So it's more than 21. I'm going to cut at 21.5. So I'll cut. I'll extend this line down. I'm not making it slimmer here because I want it to have pleats towards this point. So I'll cut from this point. So I'm going to be notching here the middle of my sleeve, and that's what I'll be having for the sleeve. It's not going to be a fitted sleeve. At the end of the day, I'm going to be having something like double pleats towards the end. So before I attach the last part of it. So I am done sewing this part. It's now for me to join. I'm going to join this part, the shoulders together. Look at how this one is coming differently. So I'm going to be placing, this is the back. I'll place each part on this part, and then I'll sew, and then I'll place this part. Make sure that I'm joining it shoulder to shoulder, and then I'm going to sew. So when I'm done stitching this part, I'll bring it back and show you. So at this point where I have these 2 folds, I'm going to be slanting my tape from the tip of the shoulder to where I have 4. Wherever that is, I'm going to mark it and then cut. I'm going to be marking that 4. So I have 4 here. See the way I slanted my tape? I didn't keep it vertically. I slanted it. So at 4, I will just mark it to meet somewhere around here. It's not going to meet that shoulder because it doesn't have to affect the shoulder. So this is what I'll be cutting. So I have cut my shoulder. I was supposed to cut this thing out before joining it, but I've done that already. So after I've already joined, I'm going to now measure my shoulder to know how many I have in the total. So I have a total of 17. Look at it. My tape is at 17.